London, in north of London, St.
Yes.
Albans. Yeah, I remember this beautiful, beautiful city. What was it like then? I mean, 1961, the music scene, London. I mean, everything happened in the north, in Liverpool. No?
Yeah, but they came down to the. I mean, the Beatles, as soon as they started to make waves, moved down to London. It was a fantastic time to be in a new group, actually, because everything was exploding. The cutting edge of most of the arts, certainly music, popular music, seemed to be based around London. It was just a great time to be there. Everything seemed possible. You could explore any sort of areas, and people were. It was just a great time to be.
London, the swinging 60s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That sounds amazing.
But if you think of Mary Quant, John Osborne, David Bailey, obviously the Beatles.
And of course the social protest and the movement. Yeah, we're talking, I'll translate a little bit, not too much, I'm sure most of our listeners understand. שנות ה-60 בלונדון, הלהקה הוקמה בלונדון, בסנט אלבנס, עיר יפהפייה מצפון, טיפה צפונה ללונדון. היו בני 15 בית ספר לפני 50 שנה, ומתארים את הסצנה הנפלאה של לונדון בשנות ה-60, ה-swinging London. So, I still want to ask you about this, competition with the North, with the Mersey sound, because you were part of this British invasion in the States, and that happened when? I mean,
well, it was 63, 64, 65, around
there.
Still
like 18 years old or something, and you conquered the States, the United States, right?
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the guy that turned me on to rock and roll music, I mean, the first 10 years of my life, I didn't like popular music, because, I mean, you think the stuff that was around, sort of Perry Como and all that sort of thing. And then one day I heard Elvis sing Hound Dog, and it completely swung my whole world around. And then 10 years later, less than 10 years later, we were in the States, and we actually visited Elvis's house. We just knocked on the door and said, "Is Elvis in?"
No security at all.
No security.
We walked up
And
to
was
the
he
front
there?
door.
No, but his father was.
His father was.
Wow.
He was filming in Hawaii.
And I learned later, many years later, even though we looked around the house at the time, he said, he was very hospitable, he said, look around the place. But I learned many years later that Elvis actually had our songs on his jukebox. And, for someone who was 18, 19 years old, and whose world had been turned upside down by this holy grail that was America, and American rock and roll, for us to be exporting our music and making an influence over there was absolutely amazing.
That's amazing. I'm going to translate a little bit for the 18 years olds that are listening now and they're playing their guitar. I don't know if they can have such an experience. אנחנו מדברים על הפלישה של הרוק הבריטי לארצות הברית, שכמובן החברים כאן היו חלק גדול מהפלישה הזאת. שלוש שונים בני 18 הגיעו לארצות הברית, החלום שלהם היה אלוויס פרסלי, הגיעו אליו הביתה, דפקו בדלת, אבא שלו פתח, הראה להם את הבית, וזהו, וכבשו את אמריקה. And you know what, let's listen to some more music and then we continue the conversation. What should we hear now? What was your biggest hit in the States?
Time of the Season.
You still agree on that? Okay.
Very little else.
Yes. 1967. What a fantastic song. We're going to talk about it later.
Okay.
Are you breathing there?
Actually, it's Rod.
Okay.
In this time, give it to me easy, and let me try with pleasured hands.